Hi guys, it's Ameriie, and today I wanted to talk to you about the top 10 series that I want to read or finish reading. Now, I have this thing with series. I tend to forget what happened in the previous book, or I'll remember, but I'm not as emotionally invested in it, so I don't get as much out of the new book that I could. But it just reminded me that there is a website that you can go to called the Recaptains. They recap books in a series, so if you ever forget what happened in book 1 or book 2 and you're about to read book 3, you can just kind of read that summary and you'll pretty much be right on track. I know it definitely helped me a lot, so thank you guys for that website. There are so many great books out there, so many great series. It's hard to get to them all. I do have some complete series here that I have not read yet, but I don't feel embarrassed about that. I don't feel ashamed about it because sometimes I like to marathon a series. The Lunar Chronicles, a 4-book series by Marissa Meyer. Cinder is the first book, and the covers are gorgeous. They're so beautiful. They're kind of like fairy tale retellings in a futuristic world. So the first book you have Cinderella. She's a cyborg in New Beijing, and the series also takes us to the moon, hence Lunar Chronicles. And of course you can see the Rapunzel reference here and Little Red Riding Hood. And the stories are all connected. We follow different people, but they're all connected. And the 4th book, Winter, is about to come out, which I will be getting. The Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy by Laini Taylor. The Daughter of Smoke and Bone is such a beautifully written series. It's a 3-book series. This trilogy is complete. I've read books 1 and 2, but I still have to read book number 3, which is Dreams of Gods and Monsters. Very creative. It's a fantasy series. It takes place in our world as well as a fantastical world, and it involves angels. The angels are a little different than you think. Very beautiful. One of my favorite writers, one of my favorite series. The prose is gorgeous, the story, it's just, and it's been optioned for a movie, so yay for that. Highly recommend this series. The Burn for Burn trilogy by Jenny Han and Shiab and Vivian. It is a, I'm not gonna tell you too much because actually I kind of spoiled this a little bit for one of you guys in one of my, I think it was the November haul? No, it was my October haul video. So I'm not gonna say much about this except contemporary magical realism. Revenge. Vengeance. There we go. The Splintered trilogy by A.G. Howard. Look at the covers. I don't want them to blur out on you guys. I read book 1, I haven't read book 2 yet because I wanted to wait for book 3. It's not a fairy tale retelling, it's more of a twist on Alice in Wonderland. Alice from Alice in Wonderland did exist. She's the protagonist's grandmother or great-great-grandmother or great-great-great-grandmother. Anyhow, she really did exist. She really did think that she saw all of these things. She went crazy, as did all of her daughters. We discover the truth of Wonderland. It kind of feels sinister, romance and dark fantasy. It's dark, and that's why I like it. If you guys saw my Creepy Christmas Reads video, then you know I like dark reads. A Discovery of Witches, book 1 in the All Souls trilogy. Protagonist is a scholar who finds an enchanted book or manuscript. That's all I know. And I believe there are vampires involved, but I didn't want to know too much. Like I said, usually I don't like to read the back. I don't like to read the flap copy because I kind of like going into a book blind. That's the way I enjoy my reads best. So a young scholar, enchanted manuscript, a blend of history, science, and magic. And romance. The Lost Son is the first book in the United States of Asgard trilogy. The world in this series is an alternate universe. So we still have the United States, but it's the United States of Asgard, who I believe is a Viking god. You still have Congress and the government, but there's a twist to everything because the Viking gods are real. So, alternate United States, Viking gods are real, young warrior, teen priestess, missing god. This is a 3-book series, and the 2nd book just recently came out, so I'm going to definitely pick that up. The Bone Season cover is beautiful. Even the book itself, like when you take off the dust jacket, so pretty. Book 2 is coming out very soon, and like there's so many details that, like little things that I don't remember. This is what happens to me in series. I love series. This is exactly what I was talking about. So basically, there's some other creatures that are ruling either London or England, and they're kind of behind the government. There's like a whole list of people with powers. A lot of them work on the underground. Paige Mahoney has one of these powers. And before you start thinking it's like X-Men, it's nothing like X-Men. It's more fantasy, it's not very sci-fi. There are romantic elements, and you kind of get to see how Paige comes into herself. I like the character growth. Now, one of the things with this book is The beginning is kind of tough because there's a lot of information. You kind of feel like the information is being dumped on you a little, but that's only for the first few chapters. I think it's definitely worth, getting through those chapters, and you do get the information that you need. A really great read. I love the romance. There's a lot of romantic tension in here, and it's going to be 7 books, so I'm definitely looking forward to the ride on this one, for sure. Another series that I want to begin is the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. I love Assassin's Blade. Assassin is actually the collection of novellas that were packaged into one book that explain to you what happened to the main character Selena before the events of Throne of Glass, and 2 is Crown of Midnight, and 3 is Heir of Fire. It's going to be a 6 or 7 book series, so yeah, plenty of books. I wasn't really sure about it. I am very big on covers as far as I kind of judge a book by its cover. I can't help it. And the first cover I saw it and it was just like, I'll show you the cover. This is the cover's right here. This cover, I just automatically, it was like, it's not really for me. I don't really love people covers. Something about it just felt really young and just something that just wasn't like my thing. I saw the UK cover and I was like, oh, that totally changes things. But I was still like, I don't know. I wasn't really sure, so I kind of just dragged my feet the whole time. And I'm so glad that they convinced me to read the Assassin's Blade. Now I'm going to be getting the series and reading the rest of the books. I have a feeling that I'm going to love this series. I'll let you guys know how it goes, but this is a series that I do intend on reading. Song of Ice and Fire. I am actually on book 2 right now, and I think he has 5 that are now out, so I'm really behind. My initial idea was, okay, the show is great. I'm going to beat the series. I'm going to be one ahead, because they do, I think that the HBO series does 1 book, which is like 1,000 pages. It's like a little mini Brit. This is the book, about 1,000 pages. Normally I don't love mass market paperback books because they're small and they just don't feel like. However, with this series, somehow it's like a little chunky monkey. I just like this series in this size. I'm so behind. I'm on book 2, which means I'm on season 2 of the HBO season. In the HBO show, I think we're on book 3 or 4 at this point. So that's that. I also want to read the Accursed King series by Maurice Druon. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's French. It takes place around the 1300s and it's like the 100 Years' War. Philippe the Fair was Philippe IV, who was also the Iron King, hence the title of the first book, The Iron King. 7-book series. George R. R. Martin actually wrote the introduction to the English translation, explaining how much he loved the books and saying that it's basically the original Game of Thrones. So of course people are gonna be like, ooh, like me. So I'm sure there's plenty of death and backstabbing. I think someone getting burned at the stake pretty early on. Sounds like something I really want to read. Okay, so those were my top 10 series to read and finish. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of those. No spoilers, please. But let me know in the comments if you've read any of them, how you feel about them, and also like the video if you liked it, and be sure to subscribe. See you guys later. Bye. New Year's Bookalutions tag, and yeah, let's get started. A series I plan to begin is the Southern Reach trilogy by